Radio Zero.
It's Radio Zero with my voice just cracked. It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose, January 28th, 2022.
You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify. You can go to radiozero.us. We're live streaming on Facebook at the Radio Zero page and Poster Children page. We're on Twitch at PCJCUSA.
I just twitched.
And on the Poster Children YouTube channel. You can patronize us at patreon.com/Radio Zero. Thank you for all of your patronizing.
That's right. What do we do with that money, Rick?
We pay for the web hosting and this live streaming software.
Yeah, so thanks. So we got a big show for you tonight, because lots of things are happening, right? Wait, I'm trying to click it now. Like I need to click on. Forget what I need to click on. Hey, Chris Rieger, our student, is listening. What do you have to say for yourself, Chris? You don't have to say anything. Okay.
There's a delay between the
that's
chat
right.
and our.
That's right. He could hear this like 5 minutes from now.
That's right.
Okay. So what's on the docket for today?
We got your Neil Young and Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
We got your mouse.
Chris is happy it's Friday.
We got your anti-work. We got your Station 11, which I thought we talked about last time, but I don't think we did.
You can talk about Station 11. Yeah. I like to talk about anti-work just because I have to get that over with because I didn't even. I don't know. What do we call him now? Bread boy? Oh, anti-work boy, is because he's not. Well, he works at the castle now.
You can call him subreddit.
Subreddit, yeah. So it's fishing for a higher grade. He can't. This boy can't get a higher grade. I'm not really supposed to talk about his grades either, but you know he's. Yeah, sorry. You guys should meet each other, Chris and Danny. One time, maybe you will. Chris is in a band called Feed the Monkeys, right? Is that what it's called? Scratch the Monkeys? What's it called, Chris? Don't Feed the Monkeys?
Oh man.
I know. I have tenure though.
You're
it's
like
fine.
the worst promoter. I'm going to give you a shout out.
There's something monkeys, something around.
He's in the monkeys?
Yeah, he's not. He's saying this is true. Great. All right, so back to anti-work. Our child came downstairs and this morning, and he wanted to play for me a video interview with somebody from the some anti-work subreddit, right?
One of the moderators.
Really
one of the moderators on the anti-work subreddit.
And apparently, they had all agreed to not speak for each other, but this guy, the moderator, went on Fox News.
He fell into the trap of like, are you willing to talk about this on TV on Fox News? And
I can totally represent this.
Yeah, thought he could pull it off without being lured into a deadly trap.
Yeah, and what Graham was saying was that this guy is now like totally discredited and such an idiot and stuff. And you should hear what kind of, his hair looked bad and like didn't clean his room. Right, he actually said his hair looked bad and didn't clean his room behind there. And I was like, well, okay, let's take a listen because I'm not really anti-work. Because I am privileged enough to have like the best job in the world, right? Like I love my work. But like I don't know, I loved working in the coffee shop too. I'm the worst anti-work person in the world. I'm still like even as a Jew and a Buddhist Jew and a female Buddhist Jew, I still adhere to the Protestant work ethic. Or is it like the Russian Jew work ethic? Is there such a thing as that? Because like I learned that from my dad. Like you have to be working all the time.
And again, there's no such thing as a work ethic. That's just capitalism.
Thank you.
Trying to indoctrinate itself
right.
into trying to make capitalism into a moral pillar of morality.
This is exactly where I wanted to go with this. Yeah. So you keep going with that. So okay. So
just the fact that it's called a Protestant work ethic should indicate to you that there's a problem.
Workliness is next to godliness.
So what that will do is it's probably, I don't know when the phrase is from, but my guess is from about 100 years ago when there was not only a great divide in towards people of color, but also people of the Catholic persuasion and Jews. So if you were Irish or Italian, if you were an immigrant, right, then all the negative stereotypes that exist for people were applied, and then so Protestant work ethic is just it's a positive that actually highlights it's actually a passive aggressive negative.
Right. So anyway, the Russian Jew work ethic.
What are you trying to say? Just get on with what you were going to say.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I forgot now.
Anti-work.
The anti-work guy. So I listened to this interview, and so the guy starts out like like smug asshole Fox anchor, whatever the fuck interviewer guy, right? I don't know, because I don't watch that stuff. So he's like, so Mr. or no, it's the guy that I'm sorry now I've fucked up this poor person's pronouns on top of it. This person is a she. I think her name is Doreen. So Doreen is being interviewed, and the Fox News guy says, what does he say first? I'm trying to remember now.
He's just asking the usual questions.
You seems like you're anti-work. That means you're lazy and stuff like that. Hi, Dannon. She replies something that makes sense. Like, I'm not anti-work. I'm just, I feel like people's jobs should be valued.
You shouldn't work as much as, you shouldn't be expected to work as much as possible. You should have time off. Your work should be fulfilling. It shouldn't just be something you do, and there should be, And
just you did also say something about commercialism, and then, you think you need to work more because the corporations got you and stuff like that. It was something like that. What you just said. Good points. And then the guy said, well, let me ask you this. What do you do for a living? And the guy says, well, I'm a dog walker. I believe in work. I'm a dog walker. And then we all snort because that's not a real. And then and the next question,
I feel like I laughed because snorted because it was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. The guy, it's not a respected job. I snort. It was the same with me. I snorted for the same reason. You can come in. What? Oh, you need car keys? Look in my purse. Look in my purse. Anyway, so no, he can find them in my purse. So the guy, dog walker, and the guy goes, oh, dog walker, huh? And let me ask your age. And the guy says, I'm 30. And he's like, you're 30 years old and you're a dog walker. And it is at this point when I start thinking, in a utopian society, a dog walker would be a valid, wonderful job for somebody to have. You know what I mean? Why? People love dogs.
The fact that is a job because people are not
being able to take care of their dogs.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a job that he can get paid for because he's taking care of other people's dogs.
Rich people want dogs, but don't have the time or don't want the responsibility to walk their dogs.
All this stuff.
All right.
This stuff.
Sorry, go on.
So I totally agree. I wanted you to chime in on all this. So and then I'm thinking, okay, well, that's not a respected job, and then you were like, not like a talk show host, but even like salespeople and stuff, right? I mean, what's a good job? What's a respectable job? Oh, I forgot. We're getting there, right? It's good segue, right? So the guy says, and if you weren't a dog watcher, or dog walker, what else would you like to be? Oh, and how many hours of work do you a week do you work? And the guy says 25.
25 to 30, I think.
Yeah. And he's like, and then he says, if you weren't a dog walker, what would you like to be? And the guy said, well, I'd like to be some sort of a teacher, or a teacher or a professor of philosophy. And the guy at this time, the guy's got his dick in his hand, and he's like, you know, like he's just, this is the
It's a perfect setup.
perfect setup, you know. And he was like, "Oh well, I sure would like to take your class."
Well, he also made a comment that it being a philosophy professor would be about the same amount of work as a dog walker.
Yep, that's exactly
Right.
what he said, and then Graham turned it off, and I was ready to kill somebody.
Which is frustrating. So it's true. College professor is one of the highest rated, despite how much we all complain about our jobs. I mean, we all collectively as professors, it's a job with some of the highest job satisfaction. Not in every place, but overall, it's a great job.
Definitely here where we work.
But part of the interpretation is that, well, yeah, since you're only in the classroom for these few hours a week, obviously that's all you work.
Oh, it's so weird. Yeah, I don't want to go there.
Well, no, I do want to go there because
you
I had
can,
just spent, the night before, or the whole day, doing, talking to and interviewing a search candidate, right? And there were other people on the search committee that are doing more than I have to do because they also have to participate in the 7 other searches we're doing. And so that means at least already they're probably doing about 30 hours just in extra service
that isn't
right?
teaching. Yeah, there's so much service work.
And so
you have to
that's
do.
truly frustrating is I do see myself and my coworkers working quite a bit. There are very few people that are slacking. And then on top of it, we all have to evaluate each other. And so on top of it, if somebody's slacking and everybody else is working really hard, we actually have evaluations that aren't just simply your manager who's your second cousin or your dad's tennis buddy, evaluating your work. It's your peers, all the time. And if you kind of don't do the job or you're a pain in the ass, it's not a pleasant thing. I mean, you do get pushback. It's not this idea of that it's a guaranteed, easy job. It's not. What's great about it is that it does offer you flexibility, some autonomy, not 100% autonomy, but also you feel like you're somewhat in control of your destiny and your institution's destiny. You actually participate in the decision-making process.
I believe they call that shared governance.
Shared governance,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a model for everyone who wants to have a good job, I think, would be a model for that.
Yeah,
right?
we have the
Anyways.
greatest job in the world, but we don't just work 25 hours a week. I mean, I like at night, like there was one night this week, it was like around 9 or 10 p.m. and I thought to myself, I don't want to do any more work tonight. That's how I am. And then like today too, I was like, tonight, I think I'm not going to do work. Like it's Friday night. I'm not going to just work all night.
And I hate that. I mean, and this Fox guy, I looked him up. He went to a prep school, so I'm assuming he's a rich kid, and then got a bachelor's in history. And somehow he, for some reason, is considered a real person, talking on TV and spreading lies that actually put people's lives in danger and are undermining our democracy. But somehow he's got a legitimate job,
and a person who walks dogs doesn't. So that pissed me off.
Because you can roll in the dough from Christian pillow advertisers, and actually, that's the thing about Fox is that it's got such a cushy deal with your basic cable provider. The amount of money that is financing Fox right now, Fox could lose all of its advertisers and still be rolling in the dough because it's getting that substantial chunk of basic cable fees. And you go, I don't have cable, but you know what? A lot of people still have cable, and they're paying, and those cable fees, those basic cable fees, are financing Fox. So if you want to destroy Fox, first off, you can request to have it taken off of basic cable, which is, they're not going to let that happen because that's their source of income. But then also, cut the cord, right?
So, I mean, what came out of all this is just made me mad at the Fox guy. But apparently, the woman or the lady who was being interviewed is like a pariah now, and like they had to. Oh, I think what Graham said was they had to shut the subreddit down or something like that. Went dark,
but I mean, this is the problem: is you can't. It's very hard to walk into the viper's nest and not be challenged, and not be basically turned into a joke.
Oh yeah, they
Right.
had Trump was on Steve Inskeep like a couple of weeks ago, right, or a week ago.
On
Did
the
you hear that?
NPR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They got a 9-minute interview out of him, right? They were supposed to have 15 minutes.
And he got his talking points out.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. And then
He actually, he didn't fall into I think he won that.
I don't think he won. I think I don't think it necessarily. Yeah, I guess he won because
He got out. He
that's the
hung
thing.
up
is
on the guy.
Well, yeah, there's nothing. It's not like I listened to it and went, "Oh, you know what? Trump's not a bad guy." You know what? I misjudged him. It's like no one on NPR I think got swayed by it, but
Right,
also
exactly.
it didn't turn anyone against him who wasn't already against him. So so that's the thing is he's kind of impervious to any kind of logical criticism.
April Smith says, "Can a job at an Amazon fulfillment center be fulfilling?"
My guess is no. I mean,
It's a shower thought.
and so I can't remember. Again,
I'd have a good time doing that.
I'm listening to Planet Money or The Indicator now. I can't, and both, and now I can't remember which one. And they cross over sometimes. But somebody was talking about how Amazon's employment rate is actually lower, or what is it? Rehire or turnover rate is over 100%. So the turnover rate is based on people who stay over a year or stay a year in a job, right?
Okay.
So Amazon, or no, number of people who leave. It's whatever it is. It's over. I can't remember how they do the calculation, but basically, like they actually, almost no one stays in those jobs for more than a year.
For a year or over. Yeah.
They're
Well, that makes
basically
sense.
burning through everyone who they can employ in the position, right? It's just a constant churn. The churn level is the largest of any other type of job, right? They can't and don't keep people, right? And then they also have people who, show up. I think that was in what was the movie with Frances McDormand,
Yeah.
Where people do seasonal work
Yeah,
also.
yeah,
So they do get
yeah.
return people, but
Yeah.
the fulfillment centers are beyond unfulfilling. It's almost impossible to keep people for people to stay in that job.
Yeah. Tina Nixon was asking why we were watching Fox. We weren't. Our kid just had like a YouTube video of a Fox interview.
Anti-work subreddit, one of the moderators on the anti-work subreddit was on Fox, and so that went.
And that it didn't go so well for her.
So I guess we can transition into the mouse issue with Art Spiegelman. So Art Spiegelman was on CNN. I saw that, vaping, which...
Was he really vaping?
Yes, Art Spiegelman was vaping, but I guess that's...
Can you not look like an asshole while you vape?
He didn't seem like an asshole. He was being very subtle in his vaping, but he was still vaping.
Was he like outside or was he like...
he's in his office. You can vape in your own home.
Yeah, I forget.
Or your
like
apartment,
all of
I
these,
guess.
any of these interviews are going to be like a person in their house.
He's
Okay.
like, what, 10 years
I
older
didn't
than
watch-
us,
Is he?
a cartoonist, right? An
Okay.
illustrator. Of
Yeah,
course he
Yeah, but
smoked.
I think that smoke a real cigarette, man. Don't vape. Come on.
I did read that, regular cigarettes are back in. Because people, for some reason, think that inhaling a bunch of chemicals that aren't cigarettes
We're
might
so
be bad
straight
for
edge.
you. And so Mouse, MAUS, the graphic novel that basically, to me, and again, don't jump on me when I say it established graphic novels as an art form. What I mean is that, like the New York Times talked about Mouse. I'm not saying that
Right.
Art Spiegelman invented the graphic novel. What I'm saying is that was when everything kind of changed. Mouse really...
And Mouse is MAUS.
Yeah, if
just
you haven't
so
read
like
it, everyone should read it. But
but like
so
my
this
parents might be watching.
goes back to what were we talking about earlier, where it was like, the Protestant work ethic thing, where in some ways it's in the positive term, it's actually a discriminatory term, sort of. It's like a false positive. Let's call it a false positive. And Art Spiegelman was saying, well, they're the Tennessee school district or school board that wanted it removed. So in just passing our seventh grader and another 7th grader in his class have read or are reading Maus. So it's well, I guess I'm biased. We're biased. We're parents who are allowing junior high school aged person to read Maus. So I guess we're part of the problem in some people's minds. But the school board, their complaints were about curse words and then nudity.
Maus nudity?
Yes, nudity. But the thing is, the nudity, and Art Spiegelman said this, is of a very small image of his mother's suicide in a bathtub, right? So, and he said, I don't know who would find any erotic pleasure from that, right? So it's,
Seems like they should have done a little bit more research and then complained about the violence or the triggering effect of. But
that's the thing is, and he said, and like he's like, and maybe these people might not be Nazis, but then someone else. Our kid quoted somebody, I think on Twitter, said, I don't know what they call them now, but there's only one term, or there's only one type of person who wants Maus banned, right?
Yeah,
It's like, I don't know what they call them these days, but there's only one reason for that people want to ban Maus. So that's what made me kind of flip it, where it was like, okay, yeah, these people they're being overly protective, but the whole history of censorship, I got mad at myself for being naive again, where it's like, oh yeah, these are just crazy people who don't want to see, don't want their kids hearing swear words, and they don't want to see nudity. But the thing is, if, I don't know what, I'm trying to think of an example, well, Donald Trump, said the C word, they would be okay with it, right? Is my thing. And I'm realizing, okay,
he tells it like it is.
These are people who are smart enough to know that you can't, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we can't say we don't want people to know about the Holocaust. Apparently, I mean, people now are saying they don't want people to know about the history of human enslavement that built our nation. They're
it's the same thing.
People are okay with talking about that now. How they don't want their kids to know about it.
Well,
so
they
I don't
make
see
them feel
why.
Bad.
Yeah, so
it's
at
really
least
interesting because I was talking to our 18-year-old and he was like, it's okay to feel bad about that. People should feel bad about that.
And,
so
that's the question.
Really neat to hear that from an 18-year-old because they're usually all about like, I've been triggered and I need to stay home from school for a long time.
And what astounds me is this fictional idea of the past in America where it's like, oh, kids complain too much and they're too sensitive. And back in the day, I was bleeding from both eye holes, every orifice in my body, and I still went to school, right?
Yeah,
just gushing blood. And these kids now, if they feel uncomfortable, they need to take a mental health day. You're all weak, but then these people are the same people making arguments that my kid can't hear, see.
Can't learn critical race theory. Let's just call it critical race theory when they talk about like
see a naked cartoon of a mouse in a small segment of the page, and or hear a curse word. It's like the sensitivity is very, very selective, and so I'm back to thinking, and it was nice. I think Art Spiegelman was, he was just saying it was just totally confusing, but
okay, all right.
But I'm willing to go there where it's just like, yeah, no, they just, they're not going to be stupid enough to say we don't want people to know about the Holocaust. They're going to say, well, there's nudity in here. We're going to find the things because this is the classic.
It's too violent.
Yeah, it's the classic.
Did I decide on a title? We have a lot of comments that I'm going to have to read here. We got Tina Nixon, non sequitur. This is from like 6 minutes ago. Have you seen?
The thing is I feel like we can roll into another tempest in a teapot or a tempest, which is the Spotify Neil Young thing, because I think it's all part of the same bullshit.
Okay, well, you want to do that, and then and I'll read these. Okay, but just comments. Tina Nixon collected the first edition mouse, so very impressive. Do we have a first edition mouse too?
We definitely have a.
Danny Ingram loved mouse, but can you imagine Keith Richards vaping? No, of course not. Okay. And I'll let you. Okay, go ahead. The former guide did say the P word. Yeah. So April knows more about it than I did, right? So, okay. Go on. So Spotify.
yeah, just Neil Young saying well, first off, Neil Young was pissed off at Spotify anyways because of sound quality, right? And then basically saying it's either my music or Joe Rogan's podcast because Spotify, as if you don't know, is sponsoring, financing, has dumped $100 million on Joe Rogan's podcast, which is full of full of misinformation, right? Based around our current pandemic and the coronavirus, COVID. And so Neil Young was just like, well, you got to get rid of that guy or you don't have my music. And then the Spotify response, I just laughed when I heard the Spotify response, which was, well, we're sorry to see Neil Young go, right? which is fine. And so that's the thing is, Spotify's, our podcast is on Spotify, our music is on Spotify, but honestly, Spotify is the,
McDonald's of...
It's not even the McDonald's.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it is. But I think what it is the destruction of, however bad and unfair the music business economy was, Spotify, has destroyed that also. is even worse, right?
Yeah.
So Neil Young, at least, he has a archive site and, you can pay to stream his music. I'm a Neil Young fan, but I don't pay to stream it. And in fact, before he pulled his music from Spotify, I listened to the new record on Spotify. His new record.
Do you listen to Joe Rogan, though?
I do not listen to Joe Rogan.
Okay.
I've never listened to Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I have no interest in guys like that. It's just, I mean, like we've talked about it forever, is that we listen to Steve and Gary, and it's like, yeah, I kind of feel like that's, and I may be unfair. Yeah, I don't want to. Well, sure, I'll upset Joe Rogan fan. I'll just speak from ignorance, which is I just assume it's the kind of thing that 12-year-old, boys like, or
I wonder if our kids
12-year-old boys in the body of 55-year-old men. Yeah. And so I'm not saying that I'm somehow more elevated. It's just I don't know. I guess if I'm gonna cater to the 12-year-old in me, maybe I'll just watch a Three Stooges episode or something.
Okay. All right.
But the thing is, can Neil Young make a difference? I don't know. I don't think so. But it would be nice. I mean, we should have a family conversation. I don't know what we would do if we got rid of Spotify, our family account, and I mean, we can talk about where we would go. But the thing is that they're not, not a lot of options that are any more equitable, I guess. But Spotify is particularly
freedom of speech, Rick. For Joe Rogan. He should be able to talk.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that a corporation has to sponsor it and a utility.
Yeah,
my music utility.
Sucks.
Do I need to support my music utility? It's like, oh, well, you know what? We have to. It's free speech. We have to let these Nazis. We have to give these Nazis. Google Drive services.
It's true though, right? Right? Yeah. What a complicated world we live in. All right, Tina is asking if I decided on a title for my book. And I did today. Was the finalization. And
did I approve it?
No.
Oh no. Okay. I hope it's good.
Is Play Like a Man.
Okay.
My life in poster children. Because it was going to be like there has to be a subtitle, and then we were trying to figure out all kinds of different, we want to talk about computers and DIY and indie rock and stuff like that. And there was just no way to fit it all in. And then Michael Rue, who works at University of Illinois Press, who's going to be like the works at University of Illinois Press and had to nail down my title. Went through like a bunch of other like memoirs, like rock memoirs and stuff, and they're all very simply titled. So mine should be like that too. So it was just like my life in poster children.
Not my life as a poster child.
I know. I thought about that, and then I thought, well, it should have the name of the band, Poster Children, not the name of the band, Poster Child, because then we might get sued by Poster Child.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Don't open
So
an
that's,
old
I know,
wound
I
there.
know, an old wound. So that's the answer to that, and that was just today. I guess I think it quote went into production on Tuesday or something like that. So that means that they're gonna assign a copy editor, and I can't wait to hear what they're gonna say about that stuff. So I'm excited though. Okay.
Do you feel like you have an idea of timelines? Can you talk about that yet? You can't talk
Yeah,
about
they
it
said,
yet.
"Oh, sure, I'll talk about anything."
You
I
don't have
care.
a publishing date.
They said fall 2022.
Okay, great. That's
Yeah.
great to hear.
Yeah. So
Mark your calendars.
Chris Rieger is getting an A+++ from me. Chris Rieger sits in, like, he has his own office and everything. He's one of our students, but he has his own office right outside of our advisor's office, and he sits in there. And we're trying to get other people to do that too. We're trying to figure out how to get like students to like hang out, like just hang out around us because we're so cool. So we bought a bunch of pizza the other day, and that worked for a little while. But then it was maybe a little early. You know, hopefully nobody gets sick, from having their masks off and eating lots of pizza. But that was a lot of fun. All right, what else?
Did I talk about Station 11?
I don't
last
think
time?
so. I don't think so. So
So we burned through that.
Rick's review of Station 11. Because I don't think you finished watching it
Yeah, maybe.
2 weeks ago.
I really liked it. I think
Oh, you might have talked a little bit about
Yeah,
it. You
I watched
talk about
it-
it again. Who
I
cares?
watched it with the 12-year-old, and at the end he said, I think that's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
It was
So
a
it was
little...
uplifting at the end, huh?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't. I
And
I had
now
to
that
leave.
I think about it, it's like, yeah, he probably shouldn't have watched that. Shouldn't be reading Mouse. We should be protecting him a little bit longer. But it was great.
Like that's just so, like I'll be like, hey, we should watch like some old movie, like we should watch Demolition Man, and you're like, oh no, that's not appropriate. I mean, there is kind of
Well,
a VR sex scene in there.
Yeah,
but
he got super uncomfortable with it and didn't. Yeah, he self-regulates if he doesn't
Yeah,
like it. Yeah, he
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. Ooh,
I
they're
don't- It's not
kissing.
like
Yeah.
a Clockwork Orange moment, although that did happen with Station 11. There is a moment that is not. It is not violent. It is a beautiful moment that everyone on the planet has experienced, and a lot of people have seen. But
oh, like a
There's-
baby's being born. Oh, whatever.
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it was
Danny
like
Ingram
kinda-
what's to know what is Station 11
So
on.
Station 11.
And what
it's,
is it?
It's really interesting because it's based on a novel from about 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2014.
I
Is that
think
what
it's
you said?
even earlier.
Oh.
And it's about what happens when a flu variant hits the planet and 99% of the people die. So it's what this group of people, their lives before and after. And so and apparently they started working on this show. They did they greenlit the show in fall of 2019, and so they're like, as they're developing and filming the show, the actual pandemic hits, and it's also it takes place. A lot of it takes place in Chicago or around Lake Michigan. So that's what's really interesting is a lot of the event scenes take place in Chicago, like the Marina Towers, I believe. Is that the one out on Navy Pier? No, the Marina Towers. What is the one on Navy Pier? I can't remember. And then yeah, and it's about it's very superficial about a Shakespearean theater troupe that travels around Lake Michigan every year to perform in the small villages of survivors. But it is very much more than that. And I think it really was one of, and I haven't read the book, but it felt like a great hybrid, like novelistic. It definitely had that novelistic feel, like the feeling you get when you read a novel and you have all those characters and their stories interweaving, and just the complexity that you can get in a novel experience in a 10-episode series, which I don't think they're going to make anymore. So if they do, they'll have to, there'll be a lot of work involved. But
I just remember walking in there, like you. I don't know what episode you were on, but like both of you guys were like, "Mommy, don't come in here right now. It's too complicated."
oh, I can't remember what episode it is, but there's what number, but there's one specific episode where the timeline gets so complex, and it's just, bouncing back and forth in someone's life. And you realize that this person is integral to everything that happens in the show, but until that episode, I don't think you realize it. But the complexity of it it kind of was brain breaking, and I'm pretty
Rick is the
well-versed.
smartest man in the world.
No, I'm not. I'm just well versed in Christian. What's his name? I was going to say Christian Markley. That's how
I'm well versed
like
in Christian Markley.
Feeble-minded, but what's his name? The guy who does the time stuff. That's
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
It's like it's
Yeah.
it's not
No,
that kind of
more complicated.
It's not that kind of playing around. It's definitely using time and jumping to draw parallels, but also to reveal things and to build suspense or tension or drama. They do it very well when they translated this to screen. I don't know if the book is like that, but definitely visually and the editing and the timelines are really well done.
So the ISU did like a play a while ago that was like kind of like the same. It was weird because it was like the same sort of idea. Like it was after the apocalypse, many years after, and like new mythology was it the Simpsons or something like that?
And
yeah,
so
the Simpsons became the new like Bible.
Is it called Mr. Burns? I can't remember it.
I
and
can't
it's great.
remember.
Yeah, and so I like the concept of that play. That was great. The execution or the actual, so the high concept, right, is great, which it's 3 acts, and it's like right as the sort of apocalypse happens and people are retelling a Simpsons episode,
Right.
and then what is it? 10 years later, it's a traveling troupe,
Right? Yeah, that's what reminded
performing
me of
Simpsons episodes, and then by the end, it's a religion, right?
Yeah.
You see, like 50
Yeah.
years later, and the Simpsons has become religion, and there are definitely similar themes to that in Station 11, but Station 11 is much more beautifully executed, I think, in
I guess I should probably
complexity.
watch it.
And basically, I think it's an argument for the power of the arts. Now, yeah, and it is. And I was thinking about it because it's a Shakespearean troupe. And so you'd say, well, it's just about, how this white man 500 years ago, white Protestant male culture, is the most important thing in the world. But it's not, because thinking back on it, I realized that there's a whole other creative thread in it that is not about that. It's I think a really great affirmation of in the long run of humanity, and then also the power of the fine arts.
I totally want to watch it now. Yeah, that was what I was I was like turned off by the whole Shakespeare thing. And the whole white male prevails
honestly,
again.
Yeah, that's a completely superficial
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
description of what the show is about. It is there's not a huge amount of Shakespeare. There's just enough Shakespeare. So if you're not, I always tell the stories like my freshman year in college, I went home for Thanksgiving. Was it Thanksgiving? And my parents picked me up at Union Station, and then took me to see King Lear. And I slept through a good 2 hours.
And they were angry.
It was like full King Lear. Yeah. No, but it's like I have empathy.
Yeah.
I'm not I very rarely can enjoy unabridged Shakespeare. Although to be fair, the Kenneth Branagh Hamlet, but I saw that projected in 70 millimeter.
Is that the one with Jack Lemmon?
Yeah, Jack Lemmon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Who
the
you
movie.
didn't like.
Where it was like,
because I really enjoyed it too.
Yeah. Where it's like, what was upsetting about that film is like Charlton Heston, who I think is, kind of like it seems like an asshole, obviously, but then also it was like a talking side of beef, it's like it never really felt like he was that great of an actor. It's amazing. in that Hamlet. And then Jack Lemmon, he was like, who doesn't like Jack Lemmon? He's like what's it called?
Seemed out of place.
Save the Tiger. If you want to watch a movie that's like devastating, like a classic devastating 70s movie, like why would anyone be allowed to make this movie, and why would anyone allow, again, a teenage boy watch it on television in the middle of the night and then want to, never want to live and grow up? It's Save the Tiger. If you've never seen it, you shouldn't watch it. It's a very sad movie with Jack Lemmon. It's amazing. Jack Lemmon's amazing in it.
Okay, all right.
But so in this Hamlet movie, yeah, it's just like Jack Lemmon is just like, oh, he's ruining this.
Why are we talking about? I forgot why we're talking
Hamlet.
about. Oh, just yeah.
Anyways.
Shakespearean tangent.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to go off on a tangent.
You said something else to me that piqued my interest too, and you were talking about the costume design and the haircuts, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a huge hubbub about Shiv's clothing in Succession. Like, people want to know, is it just that the costume department is inept? So it's the female, lead or one of the main characters in Succession. Is her people were not happy with the way she was dressed, and they were trying to figure out if it was intentional, like part of the character, like a character choice, or was it just that they've got a costume designer who's inept, right? She's being like all the men. Like,
what was wrong with the costume?
I don't know. I
as a man,
there was some good stuff. I felt like, there's some Hillary Clinton aspects. I think maybe that's the problem. Is like, I think she was evolving into kind of like a power suit.
Yeah, badly
kind of
dressed
Hillary Clinton thing.
Yeah.
But no one's really sure if that was intentional or just like, that's right, we've got to dress her also.
Chris Rieger is saying, I just watched The Apartment a few months ago.
Oh,
it
yeah.
rocks.
Yeah, Jack Lemmon's great, except when he's doing Shakespeare. And then,
I want to watch.
That's the thing.
It's funny because I want to watch that Hamlet again. Ow!
And I think Orson Welles talked about this. Well, he wasn't the only one who talked about it, but what I remember is the king actor. So I think Orson Welles called himself a king actor, and if you think about it, Charlton Heston's a king actor, right? It's like you play kings, and so that's really good for Shakespeare, especially for male roles, right?
Right, yeah.
Even though the Jack Lemmon's role is just a guard. I can't remember who.
We have to watch that again.
Yeah, we have to watch it again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the kid. But anyway, back to the costume design.
Oh yeah. So then the same time that the whole Succession controversy, I heard an interview with at least the people who were doing the hair for
Station
11, yeah. And it was like, and they had it broken down where it was like the people who were alive, a lot of it takes place 20 years after the end of the world, I guess. And so, and a lot of the dynamic, there's a generational dynamic in it, right? Just like there is, pre-apocalypse, which is like, so, but basically it's the people who remember the past.
Are we pre or post-apocalypse right now?
We're in the middle. I think we're in a transitional time. But there's kind of a difference between the people who remember this contemporary world and then the people who have just lived in this kind of natural, kind of woodsy, post-apocalyptic. And it's not like a Mad Max world.
Different chic, sort of like different, like, I think that's so, like, when you told me that, I was like, I got to watch it.
And then they talked about the people who designed the hair. So it was like, this character, was alive before the pandemic and they remember, so their hair, even though it's natural, is kind of styled in a way, whereas this character is a post-flu person. And so they're doing their own thing, right? They have no context. They don't have the fashion of the past. They don't have Beyonce in their mind,
Yeah.
And so they're
so cool.
Yeah, so their hair design.
Yeah.
And they did, one of the lead characters, she there were no shaved armpits on the ladies. At least will be interesting, yes, to look because they're different villages, let's say. Yeah. And so it'd be interesting to. I don't think anyone else is wearing a tank top, though.
This just makes me want to play D&D. Dannon says Jack Lemmon played Marcellus, who was one of the castle guards. Okay, and I'm done discussing Shakespeare with you people. So, okay, And Jay Arch says the hoodie looks so comfy. So I do have to tell you about this hoodie. From H&M, not a sponsor, like 2 years ago or something like that. And I can wear it as a winter coat. It's amazing. It's both hot and cold. I can wear it in the house and then I can wear it outside. I don't know how it must be like the fur protects you from, or like is some sort of a buffer or something, or like a boundary or something like that.
And
It's
what
really,
what
really neat.
animal is that fur from?
It's from a plastic cup, I think, because it's H&M, so it's recycled probably. But I was, as I put it on today, I was feeling really bad because I was like, I'm wearing the same clothes over and over and over again for the whole winter, and I've got so many clothes. I should put on other clothes, and I just don't. And it's a depression thing, It's like, oh, I'll just put this back on. Plus it's cold, so.
Is it, or is it just that you've been trained to think that you have to wear different clothing every day by the capitalistic
fascists.
the overlords? Yeah, that's what. Those were the things. Is like when I like our kid anti-work was saying, something about communism. I said, well, yeah, but you can't call it that. And it's like, what was it? It was
It's
like
socialism.
we're all socialists, but we're afraid to call ourselves that, and then we all want to be communists and are afraid to call ourselves communists.
You can't use the word communism.
Yeah,
You were
you
saying.
just have to figure out another way to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone's a socialist. They just don't know it,
Yeah.
right? Or won't admit it.
Okay, what else you got?
That's it. That was my.
Oh, come on.
I can't remember.
No, there
Anything
is something
happened?
else. There is something. Oh, shoot. What was it?
I got hooked in by the 12-year-old into. I have now been watching a YouTuber. It took, 20 years of YouTube for me to get hooked?
Are you hooked now? All right, so
I was hooked for a while. Now
watching
I can't.
Markiplier?
No, I don't like Markiplier. And I can't make fun of him or complain about him or the
I like his
12-year-old gets
voice.
mad. He's got a good voice, but it's just like him yelling
He's
constantly.
actually pretty nice looking too.
Yeah. All right.
It looks a
That's
little
enough.
Keanu Reevesy.
That's enough. What I got hooked on, and yeah, I'm not. I'm kind of over it. It was like a week of watching, like when this was on the TV and I walked in, I'd wind up sitting and watching it. It's Jarvis. What is it, Jarvis Johnson?
I don't know. I don't.
He watches.
I don't watch YouTube.
So I learned about two things. I learned about Darman videos, which is some kind of crazy. They're like after-school specials. They're like short, like 8 to 20-minute long morality tales that are acted. Well, actually, one of the actors, there's an old man, and it's the old guy from the Dan Flash's sketch in I Think You Should Leave. So it's amazing to see him.
Oh
that
my
actor.
God! No wonder you're watching this. Yeah.
He's been saving his per diems and not eating. That guy.
He's in these.
And he's in one of these. So
We
it's
should
just
be doing
LA
this.
actors, like small
so
time.
This is like a big. It's LA though, right?
Yeah. So
okay.
this guy and he's been making these videos. They've got millions of views, hundreds of millions of views, international views. Apparently, people also watch it to learn English. Right, because they're
that's awesome.
These kind of simplistic, short.
Chris Rieger is saying Darman, DHARMANN. Yep.
And this is not who I'm hooked on. No, let me explain. Okay, so there are these. I'm explaining for the old people the layers of this. So then I learned about Darman, and it's just making crazy money on this stuff. He bought one of the Kardashians' mansions. He's like hundreds of millions of dollars.
How
and
come
it's
we
also
didn't do that?
Yeah, exactly. And then he's also has a criminal past, or was selling weed online, and then also defrauded his local government's beautification project. He's just like this, kind of business guy
in LA.
Yeah,
Okay.
or in California, and then figured out. And has built a studio. He's got a studio and everything where he makes these movies, right? These little short films.
I peeked in at one of them.
Yeah.
So,
But the thing is they're awful, and they have. But then Jarvis, this other YouTuber, and for some reason, even though what he's doing is tearing apart these Darman videos, he does other things. But for some reason, unlike some of the other YouTubers who do the same thing, or all of them complaining about other, the kind of
they do. It's like they
that
comment
style
on
of
each
YouTube.
other.
Yeah,
right.
commenting. For some reason, he seems like a nice guy, even though he's pointing things out. He sits there and watches the Darman video on Twitch with his fans, and they play bingo, and they have bingo cards for all the crazy things that pop up in these Darman videos, like the Darman's cars will show up. He has expensive cars, and his cars are always in the videos, and then they always name drop like a really
love
expensive.
the concept of bingo.
Name brands,
Yeah.
like really high end, luxury brands. Like there are all these squares. Spaghetti shows up. All these weird things that always show up in his videos. And so Jarvis and his fans play bingo and watch it. But what's funny is that there'll be like an 8-minute video, and then the Jarvis video will be like 30 minutes long because he's pausing the video and then talking about something, or talking about the dialogue, or talking about the whole situation, how it's so, unrealistic and everything like that. But then, yesterday we were watching one, and it was a 27-minute Darman video. And then Jarvis, was starting, and already it like starts like 10 seconds in, and he's already paused it. Like our kid was timing now, to see how long. And then we both took a bet, like, how long is the reaction video to the 27-minute video? And we looked it up, and it was like an hour and a half. And then we both decided, we can't watch Jarvis complaining about Darman for an hour and a half. But I do feel like I understand. Like I've always ignored that subculture, not subculture, that culture, that mainstream culture, right? It's mainstream culture.
The YouTuber.
Yeah, that whole YouTuber
culture,
thing.
yeah.
And I find walkthrough videos or gameplay videos, I understand why the young people like them, but it just
people.
Yeah, no, it really does literally make me see red when I, just watching someone. It's like worse. It's like watching someone walk outside or watching someone exercise. It's like kind of like what's entertaining and what's useful about watching someone else do something? Why don't you just do it yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
Voyeuristic,
Yeah.
passive play or something like that.
But
there was something else to talk about.
Okay. Do you have it?
Uh-huh.
What is it?
What did we do last weekend?
Oh, yeah, we had a Salaryman rehearsal.
Yeah. I think it seems like we may have written a new record, too.
Jam session.
Yeah, we did a jam session.
Yeah. We've spent as much time in the past. Well, no, twice. We've rehearsed twice, 2 weekend rehearsals, and that's about as much time as we spent
on the first
record.
The
first Salaryman record. So yeah, it's entirely possible we already have a new record. I recorded our jam sessions, which are, so it's on average like these 12-minute long epics that I'm going to have to cut down into something reasonable.
It's cool because we'd be jamming and stuff, and I'd be like, I'm like terrified, like while we're practicing, like, oh my God, what if a new bass part doesn't come to me? What if a new bass part doesn't come to me? And then a new bass part would come, and then I'd I'd manipulate it around and stuff like that. And you guys, you guys had riffs and stuff, and even Howie had notes. He had I have a song, and you're like, Howie, God damn it, that was really funny. And then we played his song, that's or we jammed on his song. I was pretty happy with how it all turned out.
Yeah, it was great. It's just now I have to.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna. Yeah.
No, I can. I've done it. And that was the thing is that actually what kind of initiated it was doing that remix. I think had I done the
for
remix
Disorganizer?
Yeah, the big yay big yay big and Disorganizer remix where I was given a 30-minute set of stems, and it did not take me as long as I thought it would. I thought it would take me months to cut it down into something coherent, and it didn't take as long as I thought it would. And so I felt like
maybe we should do this. I should do this with our own music.
Yeah, it gave me confidence that we should just. I think what happened was we played as Salaryman for the first time in 20 years, and it went well. But then it was like, oh, I should have been recording this, and then it was like, and then it's like, oh yeah, I just record everything, and then.
Well, we didn't play anything new that other weekend, did we?
We did. We did tons. We did.
Oh my God!
Yeah, we played old songs, and then we played a bunch of new stuff that nobody documented, so we don't remember it. I recycled a bunch of stuff during the second rehearsals. So
April is saying, "There goes my sleep time for the next week," because she's going to be watching the Darman videos, or no, the Jarvis videos. But the Salaryman stuff, I won't be as embarrassed to be behind a keyboard this time.
And so the thing is about the first Salaryman record is really we did the same thing. We had the riffs, and I think we recorded it after we had played the show. So the songs we jammed the songs, but they were all kind of improvised jams, and they were just sketches, and we'd play them live. And then I think the weekend after we played the show, we recorded it, and we recorded these like 15-minute long pieces.
And then you cut them down.
What I did is I mixed them down to stereo, and then I cut them up. So I did that, and then the second Salaryman record, I think we played the songs live before we recorded them. We went to Pogo. We recorded them as they were actual songs. They were arranged. I barely edited the second record, and then the third record was when. Well, it took me 10 years to edit it? No, 5 or 6 years.
Were we still touring? I have to look.
And the third record, I had the ability to chop things up individually too, and so that's all I'm worried about. Is I just got to find a balance between the first record where I mixed everything and edited stereo mixes down to a reasonable size, but also I want to be able to control a little bit. Like if there's a part that doesn't 100% make sense, I can fudge it a little bit with the multi-track, but not go down the rabbit hole trying to build a whole record from individual tracks.
Chris Rieger is asking if there will be a show. There will be a show, but it will be at Bad Bahn in Germany.
Sure.
Like one of our
We've
favorite
got a
places.
Show scheduled at a squat in Nijmegen.
Nijmegen.
Not Germany.
Yeah.
Nijmegen is.
Where's Bad Bahn though?
Bad Bahn was in Germany. Yes.
Yeah. God, I still think about the first tour we did, and those fucking posters that I had, all the posters, and then we brought them back. We were still on tour. We toured Europe, and then we went immediately on the road, right? We were somewhere in the Midwest, and I got into a fight with the promoter, and I left all the frickin' German posters there.
How about Jim and Howie talking about this band that played a week of shows with us, and we apparently had a bus, and they're
with
just
them,
going on and on describing the band.
We were on the bus with that band?
Apparently, and then describing, Mina. Yeah. So that must have been when we were in England. That was that. I think it was the England tour. I do remember a photo in front of a silver bus, like an old, ancient silver tour bus, and that must have been that. It must have been that, but it was just these guys are talking about something I absolutely
couldn't remember. We all
no
remember the
memory
guy in Belgium though, the promoter in Belgium.
Oh yeah, there's certain stories we remember, but then just everything else, anything that didn't involve someone screaming at us, or our lives being in danger, or freezing to death, or just
the van catching on fire.
Yeah, just absurd moments you remember. But then everything else is just this endless tour, and it's I'm sure if I saw the people in that band again, it would all come flooding back to me. But right now, it's all
not me though. I wouldn't. Yeah. That's the worst. Is running into somebody who's well, I always say this, don't you remember me? And hello, Akira, good morning to you. Don't you remember me? And I'm like, from, he's well, it was Iowa City, and it was after the show, and you were crying, and I comforted you for 45 minutes out in the snow or something. I'll be like, oh, yeah.
In 1992.
1992, yeah.
Yeah. I've had children since then. I don't remember anything.
I don't remember anything. Yeah.
I pushed 2 humans out of my body. You think I remember?
Not a good excuse. There are people who remember stuff. Maybe I blocked out on my memory.
No, and that's what's great about Jim is he seems to remember everything, so we don't have to. And it's
he was making some of that stuff up though.
Yeah, exactly. He could, totally, start doing a kind of Inception thing and start planting stories into our heads just to mess with us.
Well, I have Salaryman tour reports. I'll have to look. In fact, the Poster Children tour reports should go up again.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about that.
I have no idea.
We're going to have a Poster Children meeting next week. So
Yeah.
we'll figure it all out. So,
Consortium
a conference.
post-children conference. Okay.
Yeah. So to plan out what's going to happen when your book comes out, all that kind of stuff. See if anything band like is going to happen.
But we should. Where would we play Salaryman show? Oh, we are playing a Salaryman show.
Yeah, I think
We are playing. For
you
real.
Yeah, I think we'll announce it next Friday.
Okay.
We'll start announcing it. It'll be trickling out. Information will be trickling out.
On a need-to-know basis. So, Poster Children Riot Fest 2022. I know we're never going to get to play Riot Fest because I think we had to have pissed somebody off who's in charge of it, right? Like
or honestly, we're not. Yeah, we're just not considered.
Oh, come on, fucking Jawbox got not fucking. I love Jawbox, but like
we're not.
Like,
we're not.
Don't
above
they
the
know
bar.
I have breasts?
Yeah,
a breast and a half. We're not above the Riot Fest bar.
Yeah.
We're not riotty enough. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, and if we played it though, like, aren't the tickets real expensive? And
Oh yeah.
it's just another one of those festivals. I'd go to Riot Fest if Naked Riggin was playing again.
They
Although,
always
like,
they
yeah,
used to always play
yeah,
it.
I know.
I guess we did go to a Riot Fest when Naked Riggin played.
Oh,
We
that's
had
right.
had a small child with
I brought
ear
Graham-
protection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he fell asleep on me
Yeah.
during Naked Riggin,
That was
my favorite band.
much smaller scale Riot Fest, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that Riot Fest? It was with Suspect Device. What's that band? God, now I can't remember that either. It's so bad.
They're actually by far the cheapest fest. Well, thanks, Chris. You know, maybe you can work. I think I was talking to Chris Rieger about us not ever playing Riot Fest, not ever being. I'm sure we pissed somebody off. I think we had to piss somebody off because there's got to be smaller bands playing than us. We're sorry, Riot Fest. Really, we are.
I don't think so. I don't think it's. I don't think
Rick
it
doesn't
has-
think he's sorry.
No, I think it's purely a matter.
We
of
did piss somebody. We pissed
audience
some
and
people.
economics.
No. Because I was talking to one of our guest speakers in my music business class. Told me that we pissed some people off
Really?
at the record label. Yeah.
Oh, at a record label.
Yeah. So
Well,
it
that's-
stands to
wow,
reason that we
really?
could have pissed.
I find that hard to believe. Actually, I think
Are
it's
you
more
being
like
funny?
No, I'm not.
Stiff little fingers. Thanks,
Yes, God,
Danny Ingram.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes, Danny.
Coming through with the stiff little fingers.
At the record label, I honestly, I mean, this is the thing, is people don't understand major labels, even people who are on them. It's like, for most people, it's not about pissing off someone. It's about just being completely ignored. It's like, it would be nice if we
I think we
had
pissed
enough
well.
attention to get someone pissed off at us, but I can't think of a situation we would have.
I know who to contact to
Yeah.
explain it to you. Maybe we should have them on the show. Well, here's what you did.
Let me
Okay,
explain.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
God damn it.
I know we made people uncomfortable because we weren't. Yeah. So there's also the management filter. So there's a reason why you have management. It's because people do not want to tell you that your band sucks or that they're not going to
Not going to help you or
help your
anything
band.
like, yeah,
They
yeah.
want to tell your manager that, and then your manager decides. They
How
do
to tell
never
you.
want to talk to the artist about reality, and we were all about reality, and so there were a lot of people who talked to us about reality, and they had no problem talking to us about reality at the label, but then there were other people who did. Yeah, I could see. I guess that would be a possibility, but the thing is we would have to. To get people pissed off at you, you'd have to
I'll
have
to. Yeah, I have
again,
to. I have to find the person who told me
so
this.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that too, because
Okay.
we'd have to be much more successful
yeah,
to make
in
someone
order-
angry.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like saying the I don't know what it's like saying. It's like saying the guy who sweeps the floors at night that you never see you're pissed off at them.
well,
Like
it's
the
a good
CEO is
excuse.
pissed off at
Yeah,
them.
yeah, it's also a good
like they
excuse.
doesn't
Yeah,
even
we
know
didn't
you
do
exist.
anything, but
People
they-
don't even know you
yeah,
exist.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
like
Okay.
people have to know you exist to be pissed off at you, don't they? I think they do.
I'm gonna contact this person and have them talk to you.
There's no reason. I don't want to know.
I know.
I
I
prefer.
didn't want to know either.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's bullshit.
Okay,
I honestly
all
say,
right.
and it's not bullshit because we're the greatest people on earth. I'm saying it's bullshit because that requires something that would make that was high enough stakes for someone to be pissed off. And I'm trying to think of anything that we were involved in.
Danny Egram says that Jay tutored his 19-year-old on his DAW, so that's nice. And I think we knew that.
Oh yeah, no, we love.
Yeah. I thanked Kim Coletta on my in my book, even though I didn't write a lot. I don't think I wrote anything about her. Sorry, Kim.
Well, she's not.
She's not a Midwestern bass sister.
Yeah, she's
can
part
be
of
like
a different scene that's well documented.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. It was the
Definitely,
Midwest.
we had a connection with Jawbox, but I don't think our scenes are. Yeah, we each had our individual scenes, but we connected with them.
Yeah.
Our scenes connected. Yeah. I think we were at least one conduit.
I always say this about Jawbox, like that. Like when I listen to bands play their music, usually I think to myself, "Oh, I could have written that." Like that song is simple. With Jawbox, I can't. I'm like, I can't imagine how they wrote those songs. They must be jazz bows or something. But I was always very impressed with their music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Fugazi too, but like Jawbox really, really, like, man, wow.
Yeah, and I'm
And they're playing again, right? I think they're rehearsing.
Oh, great.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, no.
Somebody's rehearsing.
I don't like a lot of bands. Most music that has lots of chords I don't like, but definitely Jawbox is one of the exceptions where it was like I love this music and there's a lot going on.
That's okay.
Whereas, like if you think about, like, I'm trying to think of some other, artists that would, I guess I like some Steely Dan songs, but
Jawbreaker and Jawbox are playing together in Portland, and Dannon is going to see that.
Oh, that's cool.
So, okay, so let me ask you this, okay? So when we were writing Salaryman songs last weekend, terrified, I'm like playing some riffs on the bass, on the bass keyboard, and I find myself always going to simplify them because I hate the band Yes. I don't want to be prog rock. And there's I'm so like I want to talk to Roy Magnuson about this too, because where do you, I know there's a formula for writing prog rock songs, and I don't like it. And Jim will pull out some kind of prog rock thing a lot of times, and I'll be like, oh, here we go again, but they always end up sounding really good. But I'm always when something seems like proggy to me, I'm always I always have that bleh.
I mean, I think I'm filtering everything through Can. So the bass lines in Can are amazing.
Oh yeah, I should listen to more. Then as we were sitting there, fuck, I should listen to more.
There's a simplicity and complexity, and so Holger Zuke was, classically trained.
All right,
studied with what's his name?
I totally
the famous German composer. What's his name? Oh crap! Stockhausen. I mean, Holger Zuke was a.
I need to listen more Can. Why aren't I not listening to Can?
And so you listen to his bass lines, and it does not say to you, okay, this is someone trained in,
It does say somebody is trained in classical music.
Well, no. Yeah. So I think that's the thing, is he was touched also by rock and roll and James Brown. And so it's that fusion of, classical post-war, classical training, and then pop music.
But I am
rock and roll.
So having classical training as a pianist for many years when I was little, I was like, every every bass part, like I'm trying to minimize it. I'm trying to simplify it and stuff. And I was like, I look over at you and I'm like, ooh, Rick looks disgusted. Why does he look disgusted? Is he disgusted because he's trying to think of another part, or is he pissed off that like? And then like the songs usually have 2 parts too, so it's like, should I go to that other part? And I was like, oh, I want to change it up a little bit. But like I would always, like it was kind of like every bass part like started out like a big like a cylinder, and I'd like kind of hone it into a pencil sort of.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you in public if you were pissed off at me, or like if it was irritating.
I think sometimes you would do bass and upper frequency, and so then with both you and Jim playing,
pissed off about that.
Well, no, it's not pissed off. It's just there's nowhere for me to go because all the musical frequencies have been filled, and so part of but that's how improvisation and jamming works. You got to negotiate these things, and so it's working your way around. But also for me, it's also the Can thing is like thinking about Holger Zuke as the one who chopped up all these songs. He was the one, and so he's got amazing bass parts, but it's also when you listen to Can, those finished pieces, it's him. The impression I got is he's the one who, for the most part, put these pieces together and cut them down. And so for me, I'm also trying to not put too much, if I don't have to play, I don't, I'm going to have plenty of time and creative time to sculpt this stuff. So
I'm just like,
it's not just about me playing it live and having a place for myself. It's also that my creative contribution to the band is also the recordings and editing. So,
well, oh, shoot. No, I can't remember what I was going to say. There was this one, some song that we were playing, and I was like, God, you're playing like this one note. I think it was a G after I'm playing something, and you just added it in there, and it was just like it was a riff that was composed of the two of us, like by the two of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
It like worked, and there are a lot of Salaryman songs work like that. It's just like, wow, how did he know to put that right in there? And it's just like the song becomes greater than the sum of its parts.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's what I'm always looking for. So if I look frustrated, it's me, wanting that to happen more, but it's also me, And I also know though that I there's some really beautiful moments on the first record that are kind of manufactured or just like weird glitches that I looped or, pulled out and we never did again, or then became part of the song later, where it was like something went wrong, something wasn't right, it wasn't going well, but then I found it and it was like, oh, this is really cool, and was able to use it. So and then also the ability to mute stuff. So there's so much there. It's just, trying to balance the desire to have good raw material and then also knowing that you kind of almost don't like it. It does not have to be complete. It's like, Rick, you don't have to arrange the songs, because that's. I mean, looking back on the second Salaryman record, it was super. We wrote everything. We arranged everything. Those songs wound up being arranged, and so we lost a little bit, I think, in that process.
God, when did we even practice? When did we do?
We didn't have. We were in a band full time.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's right.
so we just somebody. I wish I could remember his name. Dan. I think. What's the story? A live show of us at Bottom of the Hill in '97, and we were talking about Salaryman. So that's the thing, is we were full on. We were doing RTFM,
that's
so
right.
we still had the major label records, and then we did 2 Salaryman records during that time too. And we're pretty much working the band full time. And
we got it so that Salaryman was not affiliated with Warner Brothers at all. It was on City Slang in Germany.
But how we did it is just that we just rehearsed a lot. We didn't have kids. We didn't have
what it was,
any other job.
We didn't have a job. Yeah,
we had the band was our job. It wasn't a great job, but we were able to pay our respective rents. Yeah. and
Yeah.
lived in Champaign, so it wasn't like we were living in Chicago. So we were able to devote a huge amount of time to writing and rehearsal.
And even on the major label, we did not stay in hotels ever.
Yeah.
We never stayed. We slept on people's floors the whole time. We came back with
And
tons of money.
I have to talk that. So you didn't watch that playlist of the show at Bottom of the Hill in '97, because at the end there's a
I just
part
saw the
where-
interview.
Yeah,
with us.
which is like I seem like a complete. I really did not like myself. I just seemed like a complete jerk. Not a jerk, like a. What was the word?
Dick.
No,
God damn.
not that. It was like, ugh. I did not like
The
it.
interview. I saw the interview.
Yeah,
Like I didn't.
sounded like a goofball.
Yeah.
But did you notice? Okay, so you're wearing a Wired.
I know.
Magazine
I would
hoodie.
wear. I know. I got
And-
the Wired magazine hoodie from Wired, right?
Yeah, and then you're holding Infinite Jest. And then did you see what was around your neck?
Something even more assholey. What?
Your Tamagotchi.
My Tamagotchi.
Oh my God! I was like, oh my God!
God, yeah, I was
This is-
seeing. I'm wearing a white. So I got
This is 1996, 97, all in one outfit.
one outfit.
Yeah, it was like, oh
Yeah,
my God!
I was holding a book. I'm holding Infinite Jest. What an asshole!
crazy.
You know what? I have. Do you know? I have ninja shoes now. I have ninja shoes, and like I don't know. Like if a man wears ninja shoes, they are an asshole, right? But if a woman wears them, does that make me an like like in I already talked about this, right? What's Midsummer? The guy's vaping. The guy who's back to vaping again. If you vape, that's fine. Whatever. But like, I'm just going to talk.
More power to you.
More power to you. But the guy, the vape is there to just show you that he's an asshole. That guy, right? Right, the vaping guy.
I guess it's character development. Is that what you're
where
saying?
was I going with this? Oh, so that's exactly what I was saying. Character development. So, can a woman wear ninja shoes and not be an asshole? Probably not, because equal opportunity. I guess I shouldn't wear them.
Insufferable. That is the word. Is that the word? Is that a word?
You think you're insufferable?
Yeah.
That's a
watching
word.
myself.
Word applied to. Well, wow, I'm going to have to watch that again. Your voice is a little higher.
Yeah. I sound like a. Yeah.
What did you say?
I don't know. I just
You
seemed
didn't say
like a,
grunge is all we know, did you?
Yeah,
that
I know.
day?
I just.
You said that once too.
Just.
We
sound
were
like a-
assholes, I think, for a little while. Because remember we pissed off the
Somebody
one
at the
punk
record
band?
label.
Well, I think we were. I don't know. Like
You're talking about the show where the band was unhappy that we didn't
remember?
split the money equally.
Yeah.
that was not our fault. That was the promoter. The promoter.
but we didn't. We went along
promoter
with
fucked
it.
us. There was a classic being fucked by the promoter. Let's
right.
not talk about where it
Okay.
was, but it was that's
Yeah.
classic where it's like the promoter gives us a contract and says what it is, and then either isn't there or doesn't tell the other band what the deal is, and then like somehow ghosts or doesn't talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like up to us to solve the problem.
Yeah.
That's total bullshit. It's like, oh, we'll talk to them. They had a contract there, and it's like, no, you're the fucking one who put together the show. If you made them think that they were getting, the same amount of money as us, that's your.
I forgot about
yeah.
the details of it, but
Yeah,
I just,
that's not
I
us
just want
being
to.
assholes.
I want to, like the great Ian Mackay once told me, "Don't ever leave a place with bad feelings."
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he was
no.
right, because the posters from our first German tour are gone because I got into a fight with the promoter once.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that's why.
Yeah, I got into a fight and we left, and then I was like, "Oh shit, I left all the posters there and we can't go back." And then I think we went back, but it was closed. The club was closed or something.
Went out of business
No,
within a day.
that night after
Night.
they shut the door. I think we were mostly, people liked us. Mostly we were nice.
And
I'll have to
honestly,
watch that see if you were a dick or not.
I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying I'm a dick.
Insufferable.
I'm saying like, wow, I don't like this person. I was just like, ooh, that's like, who would want to talk to that guy? That's all I felt. It was just like, ooh, that's what I used to be like. It's like I thought I've been fairly consistent in my life, but apparently.
Did you fight in German? So the fight was not in Germany. The fight was somewhere in Middle America, in Middle Earth.
Oh,
I
and
think
then
it was like
we
Wyoming or something.
Oh, because we got off the plane and had all
We
the
got
posters.
off the plane. We had all the
Yeah.
posters, and we had to go to another show or something like that. We had all the posters with us, and I think maybe we were going to sell the posters anyway because they were beautiful blue posters with a bomb on them.
All right, let's put
Yeah.
a fork in it.
Thank you. Thanks for listening all this time. My goodness. Stay warm.
And even if you don't stay warm, it'll get warm again because there are no seasons.
Well, there are seasons. That's because it's going to get warm again.
I mean, it's going to get warm next week.